The M9, the bus route, not the weapon, nor the rail car. Its route goes from the neighborhood of Kips Bay, near the huge Bellevue Hospital, with connections to the M15 SBS, goes through the Skytown Housing Complex, and turns on the traffic-ridden street of Northern Avenue C. Then it goes straight along the rest of Avenue C, with direct transfer to the M14D SBS, then turns on Houston Street, making connections with the M21 that runs on Houston Street. It turns on Essex Street, serving the cultural icon of the Essex Market, where you can also transfer from the M9 to the M14A SBS, the B39, and the FMNJ train. It runs along Essex Street till it becomes Rutgers Street, where it turns onto East Broadway and cuts through the heart of Chinatown. It makes two sharp turns to go on a Park Row, serves City Hall in the financial district, and goes to Battery Park City, ending off its route with connections to the M22. Okay, now time for history. I don't care about all that streetcar stuff. This is about the current bus route. But just for overview, the M9 was a streetcar route going from the Pavonia Ferry at the west end of Chambers Street to 42nd Street. Unfortunately, though, streetcar tracks were ripped up and services cut back to Avenue A and East 24th Street, which, well, doesn't exist anymore. Then the railroad and streetcar company that owned these tracks was bought by the good old Metropolitan Street Railway. The streetcar tracks would get removed and the rail line would be converted into buses. Why am I doing it like that? Thus, the former Avenue C line would become the M9. Wait, no, there's more. That was the old history, remember? The M9 originally ran from 14th Street Union Square, turning and going along Avenue B until Houston Street and meeting with the M21, which served the M9's current routing before the M21 was swapped to serving the Baruch houses and Avenue B was stripped of any bus service. Yes, they got something wrong. The M21 served Stuyvesant Town and Peter Cooper Village permanently until budget cuts. Don't listen to my M14 SBS video, at that part at least. The rest of the M9 stayed the same when going south, and Chinatown service stayed the same to the relief of many riders. Oh, wait. No. During the budget cuts of 2010 that the MTA had to enforce, service from City Hall to Battery Park City was cut. It was later reinstated, I don't know which date, but it was cut, and people were furious. So when the MTA got back on its feet, even though they're like trillions of dollars in debt, they reinstated M9 service to Battery Park City. The M9 has 15-minute frequencies on rush hours, 20 minutes off-peak, and it has no overnight service, which in my opinion it should. It has just over 1.1 million riders a year, approximately 3,267 riders a day. I feel that most of this ridership comes from Chinatown, as I see many people riding the bus and not getting off at my usual bus stop I get on or off at, which is Canal/Essex Street and East Broadway, which is at the border of Chinatown and the LES. The second biggest ridership cluster I'm at, the East Village, which had hundreds of thousands of people living in it during the height of immigration, make the East Village great again. Okay, I think I'm done being Donald Trump reincarnated. Anyway, in my opinion, the only two reasons I can see people wanting to use the M9 over the M14D SBS are that they may not be able to get to Avenue D or walk a few streets, and that Bellevue Hospital is on the northbound side. Yes, I'm ignoring the fact that this bus serves the financial district, aka downtown NYC, with all the tourist attractions and financial institutions like City Hall and One World Trade Center. Yes. Many business people use this bus to get to the FIDI, and students from the various schools scatter along its routing, Stuyvesant High School being the most well-known high school, and Pace University being nearby the M9's route as well. The bus gets crowded a lot, especially during lunch rush. I would record more footage of the M9, but all I would be able to get would be people's faces. This probably shows how crowded the M9 can get. Many other bus routes in New York City deserve better frequencies compared to the M9, but this is not about those buses, this is about the M9. The M9 has better bus stops than the M14 SBS. No kidding. As we can see, there are a bunch of amenities at these bus stops compared to the M14 SBS. No bus stop on the M14 SBS has a countdown clock on the bus stop post, in comparison to the M9 having countdown clocks on some bus stops. Plus, most bus stops on the M9 that are in residential areas have bus shelters. Look at my local M14A SBS southbound stop. This is next to a housing complex with hundreds of people living inside, by the way. This wouldn't be a problem if the M15 SBS kept the bus stop at St. Mark's Place. And by the way, the M15 local/SBS aren't any different from the M9. The MTA really cares about this bus route, and the bus stop or transfer routes don't get any amenities whatsoever except for some benches. Seriously, MTA, why? Okay, now time for a Link NYC speed run. NYC speed run, 3, 2, 1, go. English. Find your way. Got it. Okay. Alright. We're now gonna look for directions. We're gonna check learning. Okay. You have my location. And we have to keep walking. Alright, now we end. Okay, speed run over. Okay, speed run over now. Now, time for the ride experience! What in the spicy chicken, Doritos, Locos, Taco, Gordita, Crunch did I just put? I stood during the ride for your best interests. Totally not because all the window seats were taken. I wasn't gonna turn 180 degrees on the wheelchairs or dedicated seats to record footage. Totally. Okay, so the roads on the most northern part of the route were smooth, probably because there's a hospital nearby and SBS route on some parts of it, and it being an rich area. But other than that, it was bump after 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 bump. Okay, I think I'm going crazy at this point. Oh my, I haven't even got to the review yet. Alright, so the M9 uses hybrid non-articulated buses, which use both diesel and battery electricity to power the bus. As someone who gets car sick easily, I felt a little off on the bus, which is fine, as long as I'm not in a gas vehicle. Seats are okay, I guess. I like the ones on the SBS routes more as they feel more plasticky. Yes, I prefer plastic seats compared to the newer rolling stock seats on the newer buses that the M9 uses. God, I'm bad at bus ride reviews. It'd be better if I did it on the bus itself, but yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Watch the unedited ride in the description if you really want to see that. Anyway, I love the wide windows on these exit doors. Yes, getting off them is harder as the railings for getting off the bus aren't on the doors or on the side, but that's just me. They provide a much better view when riding the bus though. I prefer these over the SBS doors, me personally. Okay, time to go over the problems of this bus route. There's not really any except one gaping problem. It's not the intense crowding, it's not the stop spacing, it's the frequencies causing the crowding in the first place. Actually, it's all a problem, but frequencies are the root of the problem. Frequencies are supposed to be 15 minutes in rush hours both directions and 20 minutes off peak, but frequencies can vary from every 3 minutes to every 40 minutes. Why? Bus spacing. In theory, the buses are supposed to be spread out evenly, serving the people that live along the M9 with decent transit service for a big city at least. But due to sharp curves the bus takes, fly-die traffic near the FDR Drive entrance at Avenue C's northernmost segment, and not so much bus lanes along the route, along with the amount of requested stops people get off at, and the sheer amount of people trying to get onto the bus, and you have a recipe for disaster. Even though its ridership isn't even that high compared to these random Queens bus routes, it's still a lot for a bus. If the 2nd Avenue subway wasn't just going through 2nd Avenue and it turned on Avenue B and stopped at 8th Street, St. Mark's Place, then maybe the M9 would be a supplementary service, as there would be a subway station in Chinatown on the 2nd Avenue subway being Chatham Square. But that'll never happen, let's be honest. The MTA will not consider a subway extension to the LES. The M14 SBS is great and all, but it's not good enough. Plus, there's tons of demand for Chinatown service, which those SBS routes don't serve, and they require transfer to either the M15 SBS or to transfer to the J and Z, only to go one stop to Bowery, or to the F, only for going one stop to East Broadway. This is why the M9 should be improved. Maybe adding 1 to 2 more buses in each direction would help service, but remember this. Induced demand exists with every type of transit, not just cars. The problem may get even worse if we added more buses. Maybe we could add more bus lanes along the route. Heck, make the part the M9 runs on East Broadway a busway. East Broadway is a major commercial hub. It would benefit from less cars. Parking would be removed, thus making more sidewalk people could walk on. Or you could remove one side of parking and make 2 lanes of bike traffic here. Plus, making stop spacing more farther apart would fix many issues with this bus route. The MTA is doing this with non-SPS routes too. We just gotta wait for the next Manhattan bus redesign. In conclusion, the M9 has a use. Direct service from East Village to Chinatown and the financial district and the other way back. It also serves the Bellevue Hospital, which has various amenities other than healthcare, like praying rooms for different religions, a whole entire cafeteria, and overall a welcoming environment that I would love to be hospitalized in. Plus, anyone can enter these hospitals. Your immigrant status will not be checked, or at least I think so. This bus has a purpose. The old route may have been nice, but it was redundant. The reroute was a good decision. Oh yeah, it's the NYC bus system packed into one because of how reliable and convenient it can be, while also being a pain in the butt to wait for. Like, seriously, 40-minute headway. Thank you for watching this yap fest of a video. If you're somehow this interested by a random bus route in Lower Manhattan, you will for sure like this video. Plus, if you stayed long enough to watch this tidbit of me begging you to sub, you might as well subscribe and hit that like button. I only saw that so the like button can glow up, lol. May your local bus stop bless you with a 3-minute highway once you get to that bus stop. Goodbye.